112 pounds. His professional record, 39 victories, including 19 knockouts with 3 defeats. From Mendoza, Argentina, the challenger, former WBA flyweight world champion, Juan Carlos Reveco. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing purple and officially weighing in at 111.6 pounds. He's a 3-time world champion. His record, 40 victories, 22 wins by knockout, only 1 defeat with 4 draws. From Bacolod City, Negros Occidental, Philippines, the former mini world champion and the reigning and defending WBO flyweight champion of the world, Donnie Nietes.
Championship run.
And Andre Nietes is a guy who has proven throughout his career that he can end with Nietes landing his jab and delivering one right hand across the top, fighting at a measured pace.
He doesn't want to engage. He disengages when the other guy wants to engage.
That's the name of the game. He's very efficient, and he only does what he has to do.
And so far, he has blocked every punch that Reveco has tried, blocking the body shots with his arms, blocking the upstairs stuff with his gloves. Reveco. You can see that Reveco.
In the fighter meeting about how he can't get too over anxious. He's a very aggressive fighter. He has a high punch count, but he knows that Nietes is a veteran, and he knows that Nietes is a natural counterpuncher as well.
Already we see Reveco has thrown 21 punches to this point in the first round. In his last fight, he came out firing 70, 75, 80 punches per round, and he's already being limited to a considerably slower pace tonight by the tactical effectiveness of Donnie Nietes. Reveco sneaks in a right hand to the body. Reveco gets in another right hand to the body as Nietes misses with the right upstairs.
That's a really good combination to the body that Reveco landed, especially the right hand.
Jim, these days, he's back in the Philippines practicing politics. Nietes said that he and his trainer, Edmund Villamor, got in some good work at the wild card and got some effective advice and help from Freddie Roach, but not from the Filipino adjunct to that wild card team, Marvin Samodio.
He also got some good rounds in with Brian Valoria,
who suffered an upset loss on the undercard here tonight.
But fought a great fight. It was a great fight decided at that point.
United States Olympian, brilliant prospect coming out, has had a bit of a hard luck career.
Valoria's has had an excellent career, and yeah, a bit of a hard luck one. A popular fighter when he turned pro, an Olympian, an offensive fighter, a crowd pleaser, a good personality, and didn't become a dominant.
See, there you see the subtlety of Nietes. Not a lot of big movements, but just enough to slip. He looks at what he wants to punch, but he won't take the dick in a veteran move.
So great, Andre, that you cited the subtlety of it. I was just getting ready to say, look at the subtle head movement by Nietes, who doesn't have to do much to make Reveco miss.
And as you said that, he slipped the punch, he slipped and picked a punch with his left glove. He landed a jab right when Reveco was trying to disengage. He's just a very crafty guy.
These are the kinds of moves that don't necessarily catch the eye of that many people in the arena, but the opponent, when he watches Nietes do that, he's stuck with, this guy's really good. I'm not able to do what I want to do.
Jim, my predecessor calmly sidesteps and delivers the ball, and Nietes is like a really seasoned quarterback in the pocket. Look at that.
Well-chosen body shot by Nietes upstairs. And now Reveco comes back with a couple of body shots of his own. But in the closing seconds of round 2, already by CompuBox count, Nietes is doubling Reveco in landed punches. Donnie Nietes' ring nickname is Ha-Has, the Tagalog word for that shows you that he loves the snakes.
You know, I bring this metaphor up from time to time, or an analogy up, between boxing and chess. And the best, by showing you a master versus every different level of opponent, from beginner to expert. And the most interesting games are the master against the expert, because you see the way he picks punches, the calmness in the pocket, the countering, the pacing. He's
had a lot more good experiences than he's had bad. I mean, he's on a 14-year winning streak. He's the longest reign in boxing history. That's for a reason.
One loss in his career, and it took place in September.
The sanctioning bodies, and they deserve it. The fact is, if you're a long-reigning belt holder, that makes title chances are you're going to have an off night.
Absolutely.
Chances are against another world-class opponent without a lot of fanfare, you can come, or you just didn't have it that night, and Nietes hasn't had that to overcome world-class opponents.
Consistency in this game is definitely under. Sometimes we as boxing fans, we get excited. We get excited with the shooting star, the guy, making a lot of noise in the moment, and that's fine. But show me the guy that has success against top competition over an extended period of time. That's the guy that gets me excited.
Well, and that consistency over a long period of time, it was 46 consecutive wins with 38 knockouts that lifted Roman Chocolate one ranking pound for pound in the world coming into calendar 2017. But as his experiences with Srisaket Sorong Visai show, there's somebody out there in this overwhelming number, and you just never know when you're going to run into that guy. Chocolatito Gonzalez could never have really known before he first fought Srisaket Sorong Visai that this was the guy.
Particularly with pressure fighters in the lighter divisions, they tend to age very quickly once they hit about 30.
Which makes it interesting to see what'll happen to you. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, I got a 3-0, 30-27, Donnie Nietes. I got to tell you, Jim, he's a very good fighter. I never saw him. Boy, I'll tell you, he's an excellent fighter. He punches real good in the middle of the ring. He keeps the fight where he wants it, His ring generalship is, and he outpunches Juan Carlos Reveco in just about every round that I've watched so far in this fight.
Very few.
In a very specific way. He doesn't remind me of Andre as an overall fighter, but in the sense that he dictates what's happening. He frustrates his disengaging with a rhythm that upsets his opponent. In that respect, he's very much like Andre, I think.
If you know anything about Reveco, like we mentioned earlier in the telecast, Reveco is a two-fisted fighter. He punches with volume. He throws a lot of punches, and he's aggressive. But you see Nietes, his nickname is Snake. He's almost like a snake charmer, where he's very deceptive. He's taking the punch counter, and Reveco in so many cases is shell-shocked. He can't do what he wants to do, and I don't even think he realizes that right now.
And yet Nietes is right in front of him, and he can't land the punches.
And it also massively in control. He's landing 23% of his punches. That's not high, but it's enough to double what Reveco is.
You'll see him slowly start to pick it up. He'll throw just a little bit more each round until he gets the shots that he wants to get, and you'll look up and he'll either score a knockout, or you'll look up and the fight will be over and he's won most of the rounds. That's how it goes.
I don't know what the fight did, obviously, but if you like boxing craft, you're seeing a lot of it here. And it's not as though he's not moving his hands. Punches are flying.
If the boxing cultures that spawned the fighters on the card, Argentina, the Philippines, Mexico, they expect to see aggressive fighters with an offensive bent. That's what they're used to.
More risk-taking.
Exactly.
Stop at the bell. Stop at the bell.
That's probably the genesis of this. So while the crowd may be booing because they hoped for something more spectacular in terms of give and take, we're looking again.
Donnie Nietes is true.
If I had to guess, I think the boos might be louder in round 8 and 9.
I like what, I mean, I don't know. I see two guys throwing punches. You tell, look, here comes Reveco. His hands are moving. Nietes' hands are moving. They're just also both playing defense.
Right now I'm focusing on the accuracy
of inaction. Good fight so far.
Once again, Nietes ducks and slips a few punches and sneaks in a left hook.
If you watch Nietes under attack, he stays calm the whole time. And for the young fighters watching at home, that's something to look at. It's not always the flashy defensive, keeping composure under fire. And Nietes has done that this whole fight.
On the Argentine national team with Lucas Matisse and Marcos Maidana, and acknowledge that they are the kinds of fighters that Argentine fans love to watch, and that the long dreamed about fight between Maidana and Nietes could ever conceivably take place. And he smiled and said, well, for my pounds ago. So unlikely it's ever going to happen.
See, what the fans want here is one of these guys to lose their discipline, to just start winging shots. But it's remaining disciplined, even when their opponent, particularly Nietes, is doing things to...
And it's tough to give Reveco some type of game plan right now to get to Nietes because, one, he's the shorter box on the outside. If he comes inside, a tough spot right now in this fight.
Nietes is hard to hit even when you're in close quarters. He's still hard to land against.
But that's what I mean. That's where Reveco on paper wants to be, but Nietes is comfortable inside.
Stop at the bell, guys. Stop at the bell.
Juan Carlos Reveco of Argentina landed 7 out of 53. We're at the Forum in Los Angeles, looking at a couple of 112-pound fighters, the guy in the purple trunks and in the division. Hard left hook by Nietes. Follows it up with a 2-punch combination.
One of the subtle differences you can see in these two fighters, the master versus the expert, you know, Nietes as the master, there's less wasted movement. His rhythm is making bigger motions.
Yeah, that's that's his rhythm. That's how he gets himself going. It's almost like a telegraph where about, slow down. Jab to the stomach just to let Reveco know, I see what you're doing, and I'm not going to let you get revved up and get started. And he's been doing that all night. But Reveco's doing the right thing right now. He's going to have to sell out a little bit, be willing to get hit, to get his. Because if he stays back and allows Nietes to snake charm him, he's going to be on the end of Nietes' punches all night long.
Right, and that's where, early on, I think it's you can't say it's unfair for the crowd to boo, because the crowd feels how they feel. They paid their money. They're entitled to express themselves. But eventually in this fight, if it continues this way, you're right. Reveco, what he's doing, it's not working. It will be time to go to plan B.
Which he's been doing this round. He's had some more success.
That Reveco left hook is one of the best punches he's landed in the fight. But he had to eat 5 or 6 good punches just to get in position to throw.
Well, the difficulty with plan B oftentimes is it involves some selling out, and it can hasten the fighter's demise. In order to give themselves a chance to actually win, they have to increase the odds that they get stopped or get beaten badly.
Well, this is actually Reveco's plan B. This is aggressive, and he likes to throw a lot of punches. He went against his own nature, which was to lay back and try to think with a master thinker, and that's where he went wrong. This round, this is who Juan Carlos...
Tyson said, in boxing, you got to bring it to get it. That isn't exactly what he said, but that's the point.
One of James Toney's favorite expressions, too.
Here's a replay.
Here we see Nietes squat down. He's looking. Short right hand, missed the left hook, but that right hand had Reveco out on his feet. He's out right now. And Nietes knows it, and he's coming back after this round to try to finish the show.
And now the between rounds clock has stopped.
Short right hand from Nietes right on the button.
Now the between rounds clock is going to roll again. As the
legs are gone.
That's why he's running like that, to try to get his leg. But watch the veteran. He's going to start to pick it up, and you'll see him as aggressive as he's been all night.
And he landed a lead right hand flush. As he now looks for the next opportunity.
Reveco just has huge heart. But now Nietes has a sitting duck in front of him.
Yeah, and I think this is highly questionable for the California Commission, as Reveco has been allowed to come back in and fight at a moment when he was obviously compromised.
7. Hey, come to me. Come to me. Come to me.
His corner's allowing him to continue. His legs are not obeying his brain.
Questionable for everybody, and now somebody in the corner is waving a white flag, and intelligently so. What's the point?
That would have ended ugly. If
another look at the end.
So Nietes knows that Reveco's hurt. So now you start to see him put some power behind those punches. He commits more knowing that Reveco's hurt. He closes the distance. He goes to the body with both hands and tries to finish up top. And Reveco's done. he's finished.
You know, Andre, we saw a good young fighter a couple months